there's nothing to this.
There's a few tricks.
Yeah, like what?
Like stopping.
Sundance! Are you all right?
A winter scene from a new summer movie, Butch and Sundance, The Early Days, the story of what happened before Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That's one of 5 new summer releases we'll be reviewing on Sneak Previews. 2 movie critics looking at scenes from and discussing the new movies in town. And across the aisle from me is Gene Siskel, film critic of the Chicago Tribune.
And this is Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times. Now, in addition to Butch and Sundance, which I liked a lot, despite its lack of originality, Roger and I are going to be reviewing Players, Ally McGraw's new film, a love story set in the world of international tennis. Also, Rock and Roll High School, a punk rock comedy that I'm predicting someday is going to be a big hit as a cult film, even though it's already bombed at a lot of box offices. Also, Winter Kills, a thriller based on the assassination of President Kennedy. But first, Roger begins with a sequel to a very popular disaster film. It's called Beyond, the Poseidon Adventure.
Well, one of the big trends again this summer is the old reliable sequel like Rocky II or Airport 79, which the producers of big box office hits try to strike it rich twice with the same formula. And that is certainly the case with Beyond the Poseidon Adventure, which begins the morning after the original Poseidon Adventure and retraces the very same ground. In fact, I think they retrace the very same sets. After the stars of the last movie have been rescued by helicopter, a tugboat captain played by Michael Caine comes aboard the capsized ocean liner hoping for valuable salvage. But he discovers a new group of survivors. They were overlooked by the last movie, and he tries to lead them to safety.
Ladies, do you think you can jump this?
When I was in the Girl Scout, I once won a medal for the running broad jump.
How many tries they give you? Best of 3? Show 'em how it's done, Gina. Take a run at it.
Oh, all right, Gina.
Come on, Sarge. Join us. Don't worry about me, Turner.
Oh, God. Oh, brother. Wilbur, are you going to be all right?
Just as soon as I see you make it. Go
Well,
ahead.
I can't, Wilbur. Wilbur, I can't do it. I cannot make this jump unless I know you're on the other side.
Shut up, the barrier, and why don't you jump?
Right. Wilbur?
Hold the wires back for me.
You know, I have the shortest legs of any of us.
Shut up and come
No,
on.
okay, here I come. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Oh!
The movie's a who's who of Hollywood stars who somehow were not included in the original Poseidon Adventure. We're keeping count there, leaping into Michael Caine's arms. There were Sally Field, she was kind of cute, I thought, and Shirley Jones, and Carl Malden, and Shirley Knight, and Peter Boyle, and Jack Warden, and Slim Pickens, and that's not even counting Telly Savalas. The formula is the same as last time. The survivors make their way through the capsized ship. They leap across chasms and dodge explosions and climb up the down staircase. And in this scene, they're trying to swim to safety.
Take it easy. Nice and slowly. You ready?
The characters change, the situations remain the same. I think in the last movie it was Shelley Winters who had to swim for her life. Let's put it this way. If you like the Poseidon Adventure, of course you'll like Beyond the Poseidon Adventure, and why shouldn't you? It's the same movie. Michael Caine does a fairly good job of holding the action together, and there are the usual special effects and dire straits, and at the end the Poseidon explodes. Now that means there can't be another sequel, and I call that a happy ending.
Yes, it is a happy ending. But I'm going to challenge you on one point. You said if you like the original, you like this one?
Yeah.
I don't think so. As you said, though, it's for the same reason. It is the same movie, and Roger, I don't think the Poseidon Adventure, for as entertaining as it might have been, is the same kind of picture, the strong picture that holds up on a second viewing. This is boring. The only way I could enjoy it is sitting in the theater and saying, hey, look, there's Michael Caine being paid $500,000 to jump across a bridge.
Well, now, so let's ask, why did they make the sequel, other than to make money, of course? Maybe because there were a few cliches they'd forgotten in the first one. In this one, we have a blind man and a woman with a dislocated shoulder and a guy on board who's the bad guy trying to steal something out of the hold. These are cliches they missed the last time. Now they can rest satisfied. They've used every possible cliche that they could possibly get into this one story.
Okay, you're making it seem like fun. It was boring to me. I really want to stress that. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
I don't want to make it sound like too much fun either.
Okay. Now, here's a film that has some familiar material in it, but yet I think it does it in a fresh way. In the movie business, there's a peculiar creature known as the cult film, films that aren't necessarily hits when they're first released, but eventually they find an audience, and it's typically young people. These cult films end up playing for years and years at midnight shows and at revival film houses. Now, I think an innocent little high school comedy called Rock and Roll High School has a chance of becoming a cult film, of joining the ranks of pictures like Harold and Maude and the sing-along Rocky Horror Picture Show. In Rock and Roll High School, the mean new high school principal has devised a machine that measures the effect of rock music. Together with two teachers, she conspires to clamp down on her rock music crazy student body.
I investigated reports of loss of hearing by individuals due to the high decibel level involved in playing rock and roll music. Put on these ear protective devices, as I am going to, Mr. McCree, play a song by the Ramones at the decibel level consistent with that used in your average concert. Your standard mouse and your standard speakers. Now back. This is the rockometer.
Gee.
It is used to measure comparative rock and roll intensity levels. Watch the mouse while I turn it on. Notice the loss of hearing.
The gym! Girls! Music! Lag dancing!
I think they're trying to tell us something.
Music! Okay!
Fun, fun, rock and roll high school. Fun, fun, rock and roll high school. Fun, fun, rock and roll high school. Fun, fun, oh baby. Fun, fun, oh baby. Fun, fun.
The ringleader of the rebellious students is that blonde girl skipping rope there, a punk rocker named Riff Randall. She is first in line when the Ramones, a genuine punk rock band, show up in town for a concert. Great. Now, what we're dealing here with, obviously, is not Citizen Kane. Rock and Roll High School is not a great movie, but it's a very entertaining one with more energy than any of the pictures we've got on this show. And it has all the traditional elements of summer movies made for young people. Rock music, cars, kids trying to burn down their high school. Come on, this is your all-American fantasy. The music is good, the characters are broadly drawn. This is just the kind of film that kids love to learn by heart so they can sing along with it. and I found it very entertaining, too.
Well, I found this movie kind of a close call. Now, I can't really recommend it, but I did enjoy it. It's got a lot of energy. I enjoyed the Ramones.
Yeah,
I like the girl who played Riff Randall.
P.J. Souls is her name.
P.J. Souls. I like the situation, just kind of Armis Brooks with punk rock thrown in.
Yeah.
I can't quite go as far as you go. Now, you say this is going to be a cult movie, right?
I think it's going to make it. I think it's going to make it. This film, in many ways, has the same appeal as Grease, only this one's a little rougher. Grease was supposedly going to be about tough kids. These kids are, you know, break it up a little bit more. I enjoyed it.
Okay, well, 6 months from now, I'll come back and see if it's playing at midnight or not.
Okay.
I can't quite recommend it, but yet I wouldn't quite tell you not to go. How's that for sitting right on the fence? Anyway, we've had a lot of movies this year about sports, about boxing and wrestling and football and basketball and bowling. Now comes a tennis movie. It's inevitable. It had to come sooner or later. It's called Players. It's about a young tennis hustler played by Dean Paul Martin, who's also, and this is the message of the film, he's also a player at life. He can't seem to make a commitment. It's your good old basic Hollywood emotional trauma, and so he hits the tennis circuit, hustling bets in cooperation with an accomplice who sneaks him signals from the stands.
What do you want?
Mendoza.
Okay. 200 pesos to get even?
400.
400's fine.
How much? 400.
Double or nothing?
500 on the next point. But I'll take the blonde boy.
Take what you want.
$5,000 on the match, and I'll take Mendoza.
I don't have that kind of money, mister.
2,000.
2,000's fine.
That was Steve Guttenberg as the partner making the bets, and I guess you could see that Dean Paul Martin is a pretty good tennis player, but his life changes one day when he meets Ally McGraw, who plays an older woman who's the mistress of a European millionaire. Well, they fall in love, but wouldn't you know, they have trouble making a basic emotional commitment to each other, and they have a lover's quarrel over money. It seems that he's stolen hers.
Creep.
What'd you say? What did you say?
I can't hear you.
I asked you a question.
I called you a creep.
Oh, that's better. Do you have any interest in why I took the money?
Why, I think you took it, or what I think you're going to tell me? I can't believe we're having this conversation.
I'll leave. I said I'd leave.
So go.
As soon as you tell me why I did it.
I think you wanted to hurt me. I think you wanted to tell me that you thought you should be paid for having to,
What? What did you do?
Yeah. I wanted to help you just because. Just because. But hustlers can't afford to think people are nice to them for no reason. So I think you wanted to let me know that your services in this area were worth, whatever you took.
37,053 pesos. That's $1,557.23. Is that what you think I'm worth?
No, that's what you think you're worth. Actually, at that figure, you're overpriced.
You can say that again, especially since the movie has one love scene, but about 3 dozen tennis scenes. It's all told as a flashback from the finals at Wimbledon, And that's one of the problems with the movie. Players has so much tennis, we don't care about the love affair, and the tennis is so predictable, we don't care about it either, and really there's nothing more deadly than a movie that cuts back and forth between two stories while we're trying to decide which one we'd rather do without.
I think there's another problem. I think both of these characters basically are jerks. And I don't say that just to be glib. These are uninteresting people. They are shallow. Their values stink. I don't care whether they're happy as individuals, and I certainly don't care whether they get happiness by meeting each other and being turned around.
One of the problems with the film also is the screenplay, which gives them nothing to say to each other that would answer any of the objections you just made.
That's about the longest scene they have
They
together.
have one-liners. First they, a tragic one-liner, or a cheerful one-liner, or I love you, or I hate you, or something. They don't really talk. The only guy who gets a really long speech in the movie is Maximilian Schell, who plays her millionaire lover. And he tells her why she should stay with him. Well, I believed him. After he was finished, I said, dump Dean Paul, stay with Max. You'll be better off that way.
Yeah, and isn't there something going on here, Roger, that may have to do with Hollywood screenwriters having values that are different from maybe the rest of the people in the country? Those characters, I find, are not appealing to me, and I wonder who they appeal to. They're interested in flashy cars and clothes.
Yeah, we're supposed
surface qualities. I don't think America cares about that
We're
stuff.
supposed to be thrilled about this guy because he wears Adidas tennis shoes.
Yeah.
I think the only thing to do with Adidas tennis shoes in this movie is hold them over your eyes.
It couldn't hurt. As Roger mentioned, we're getting a lot of sequels and remakes from Hollywood these days because as the budgets of the films get bigger and bigger, Hollywood tries to play it safer and safer with proven material. But the prize now for the most audacious sequel or remake has to go to Butch and Sundance, The Early Days. It's not a sequel to Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It couldn't be, if you think about it. The characters played by Robert Redford and Paul Newman were killed at the end of that very popular film. But necessity to make money, that is truly the mother of invention, and movie makers have not let death stand in their way this time. They've discovered the prequel, a film about what Butch and Sundance characters were like before the original film began. Now, part of the appeal of the new film is that it's cast with actors who do resemble a young Redford and a young Newman. Early on in the film, we learn how Sundance got his name.
Cherokee Charlie? Yeah. Buck Barton. Johnny Ringo. No, that one's already taken. Lucky Wilson. Oh, come on, will you help out then? I need a little inspiration here. Haven't you ever done anything interesting in your life?
Well, I was in jail once.
Where? Sundance, Wyoming. Okay. Kid Sundance. Sundance Kid. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like it too. In fact, I like it so much, I think I want it. Now, you can be Butch Cassidy if you like.
Hey, wait a second. I was in jail there, not you. I've got it.
Sundance Kid.
A nice scene. Now that they've got that straightened out, it's only a matter of time before they start working together as professional crooks. They try to pull off a train robbery with predictable and amusing results.
Hello in there. This is a holdup. Open the door, please. You do what I say and open the door.
I can see one of them.
Now, what's that?
Kerosene?
What you want with kerosene?
Well, I'm holding this match in my hand. You want to take a guess?
Come on, start bang, start bang.
All right, just keep going. How many are there up there?
How much in each of them?
25,000.
We'll take two, please.
Come on! Come on, I think he's above us.
There's a lot more in there. But my friend's a kind of a rake. I think I can only manage two.
I could help you with that one.
Why are you being so helpful?
Oh, this is a lot of fun. Do you have any idea how boring it is riding in this express car every day?
Oh, boy, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
All right, come on.
Okay, sir.
Well, to be honest, when I walked into the movie theater to see Butch and Sundance, I had sort of a show-me, chip-on-my-shoulder attitude. I wasn't going to be manipulated by the so-called prequel. But the film does have an undeniably fresh quality. The actors, Tom Berenger as the dark-haired Butch Cassidy and William Catt as the blonde Sundance, well, they're both pleasant enough. And the script has been well written in spots. I like Butch Sundance, the early days. It's not original, and I don't like that about it. But what is on the screen is entertaining most of the time. So sort of a guarded positive reaction to the film.
Okay, I'll be one of your guards. I kind of liked it, too. I mean, I like the locations. They shot in Montana the wintertime. They went down to the desert. Good sets. Pretty good director in Richard Lester. Good performances. I was just, yeah, sure, it's okay, yeah.
Well, one of the problems, and maybe one of the reasons why we're having a halting reaction to it, is that the pattern of the jokes in the film are all the same. They say things like, oh, it's safe now. Right then they get hit by an avalanche, or somebody sticks them up, or they get shot at with bullets. That pattern of joke, when it's repeated 15, 20 times throughout a picture, well, the last 10 times it isn't very funny or surprising.
Let me do a little detective work here. Did you like this picture?
I think it's fresh. These guys are appealing actors. Maybe if they had been doing some other story, I'd really like it. But there's that familiar quality that takes away some of the impact.
I'm right on the fence again. If a good friend were to say, should I see this picture, I think I'd probably say, yeah, if you have nothing else to do and it's not playing too far away, you know?
You know, I don't know whether I'd really send a real good friend to see it.
Well, maybe what I'm trying to say is if you want to see the picture, don't let me stop you.
And what I'm trying to say is, if you don't want to see the picture, don't let me encourage you.
How's that for a great controversial stand? Two guys who aren't afraid to take a position. Okay. Well, one of the strangest movies out this summer is Winter Kills, which is based on Richard Condon's thriller about the assassination of President Kennedy. Well, he's not called Kennedy in the movie, of course, but you don't have to be a genius to put this thing together. Jeff Bridges stars as the younger brother of a murdered president, and John Huston plays the millionaire patriarch of the family. Now, after new evidence about the assassination turns up, Huston encourages Bridges to investigate.
Look, somebody tried to kill you last night. See, no tracer marks are on.
Pa, I'm not going to carry a gun.
I admire the way you fought off that killer boy, single-handedly.
It was only the maid.
Trained killer. We got her, by the way.
We got her?
Yeah, working her over now. My people are on this all the way. All right, if you won't carry a gun, take this. For my peace of mind, if nothing else.
You're amazing.
Take these brass knuckles, too. But don't lose them. They have a sentimental value.
Thanks. I'll see you in Cleveland.
I'll be in the hospital. Oh, nothing's wrong. 6 months blood change is all.
Blood change?
Yeah. I take it from the kids at Amherst. Got to deal with the Red Cross for the circulation.
I'll see you, Pa.
Call me from Cleveland.
What a great old man. For Father's Day, buy him his own grenade. Winter Kills is one of those movies that isn't exactly good, which you can say again, but it has moments of such inspired insanity that you can almost forgive it. It has kind of a goofiness about it. There are offbeat supporting performances, for example, by Sterling Hayden, who chases Jeff Bridges off his ranch with an army tank, and by Richard Boone, of course, by John Huston. Even Elizabeth Taylor turns up in a cameo role with a great one-liner that can't be repeated on a family show, alas, but the movie's a strange hybrid. It's half thriller and half comedy, or maybe you could say it's half serious and half satirical, or maybe you could just say it's half-baked.
I like half-baked the best. The film is very confusing, needlessly so. Half the way through I couldn't follow it. I pretty much gave up.
Kind of a basic Richard Condon plot, I think, in which everything you believe at the end of the first 10 minutes is wrong at the end of the first 20 minutes, then everything turns out to be right again. By the end of the movie, you're just reeling back and forth.
And frustrated, don't you think?
Sort of, yeah.
There's one more serious objection that I have. This film really trashes the Kennedy family. The president, the late president, his assassination, his father, every woman in the family. It's pretty sickening. This is the kind of stuff we used to reading in the old National Enquirer, all the old sleazy newspapers and magazines. This is not a very kind or nice film at all.
Hold on just a second, Gene. I think this might be Spot the Wonder Dog.
Who else could it be, Roger?
You're right. It is Spot the Wonder Dog, and every time he leaps into the balcony, it's time to announce for the Dog of the Week when each of us picks the week's worst movie.
Well, my dog is a gang film called Sunnyside, starring Joey Travolta, John's younger and less talented brother. It's a Saturday Night Fever ripoff set in a New York neighborhood. Joey Travolta, like his brother in Fever, is the leader of a small gang that gets into a dispute with another more violent gang.
Sounds familiar.
And is in Fever, Joey has a girlfriend who wants him to get out of his rough neighborhood and then move back into Manhattan.
Sounds even more familiar.
So what we've got here is a double ripoff, a weak imitation of Saturday Night Fever, played by an actor who is a weak imitation of the Saturday Night Fever star. You know, you really have to have a low opinion of the audience to try and pull off a fast one like Sunnyside.
I've got a movie that has a much lower opinion of the audience. My dog this week is called The Dark, and it is the dumbest science fiction movie ever made, I think. It's sort of a police movie about a killer named the Mangler. Now, he could also be the director, by the way. He stalks the city by night and tears people's heads off. Yuck. He turns out to be a sort of Jack the Ripper from outer space, and he can tear down brick walls and smash through doors. And he fries people with psychedelic lightning bolts that zap out of his eyeballs. What great fun. Not only do we never figure out what the monster is or where he came from or why, but at the end we can't even figure out what happened to him. That's in spite of the fact that an announcer comes on and advises mankind that we must always be afraid of the dark. If he's talking about this movie, he's certainly right.
All right, we'll skip both pictures. And now to recap the main movies on this show. Neither Roger nor I thought the sequel Beyond the Poseidon Adventure held water. That's why there's a no next to both of our names. We can't recommend you see it. The film is rated PG. We disagree, however, on Rock and Roll High School, a punk rock movie. I thought it was all good, terrific summertime fun, a lot of good times with a lot of energy. Roger thought it was a near miss. I say yes, he gives it an affectionate no. And 2 no's for Players, the Ally McGraw tennis love story that was too corny to be believed. Butch and Sundance, the early days, that so-called prequel, we both think it's charming in its own innocent way. Roger gives it a mild yes, I give it a reluctant no. But 2 strong no's for Winter Kills, rated R, the disorganized and tasteless thriller based on President Kennedy's assassination.
And that's it for this show. Next on Sneak Previews, we have probably 5 of the biggest movies we've ever had on a single show, including Sylvester Stallone's Rocky II, Clint Eastwood trying to escape from Alcatraz, and Barbra Streisand and Ryan O'Neal in the main event. Until then, see you at the movies.
Funding for this program is provided by this station and by other public television stations.